Welcome to the Life Leadership Podcast with myself, Leila Singh, all things coaching, career and personal branding. This podcast is for ambitious career professionals like you, wanting to create a life of choice and freedom, to be, do and have more through overcoming limitations, to develop new perspectives and insights, and to redefine your success, be that in work, health, relationships, and so much more. Hi there, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are joining from in the world today. Welcome to Live with Leila. My name is Leila Singh and I'm a leadership, career and personal brand coach. And my mission is to impact 100,000 people's career trajectory beyond what they thought possible. Why? Because I am passionate about helping you to realize what is truly possible for you when it comes to your career and to your life. How do I do this? Through helping you to harness your leadership potential. I coach high achieving, ambitious and driven mid to senior level professionals working in the tech industry for promotion, for peak performance and positioning. In other words, a standout personal brand, all whilst showing up as the best version of yourself. And this is what I call life leadership. What's today's topic? Today we are talking about mastering the art of influence for career growth. Why am I talking about this today? Because networking and relationships are something you'll hear me talk about regularly, and they play an essential role when it comes to your career advancement. And in parallel, it's also about the ability to influence others when it comes to your career. So today what I want to do is to delve into a few things. First of all, the importance of influence and the possibilities that that could create when you really master the art of being able to influence people around you. And then we look at the challenges that are faced often by people in the career space, in the workplace, when it comes to leveraging this skill. We'll also look at why influence is often underrated, undervalued, and not really prioritized. And of course, as always, I will be sharing with you some practical strategies to enhance your influence so that you can both elevate your career and make your work environment more conducive to success, not only for you, but for the team, the people around you. Number one, then, let's look at the importance of influence. So it's what is influence? Influence is the ability to impact or affect both the character and the development of, as well as the behavior of someone or something. So in the context of your career, in other words, your professional relationships and your career advancement, influence can allow you to shape people's perceptions, to guide decisions that are made, and to inspire action amongst the people around you. And that's why if you're someone who's aspiring towards leadership, this is something that's really critical for you to work on and develop. You may have heard of Robert Cialdini. He has created a lot of work around influence, and he has a book on this very topic, which I'd certainly recommend you check out. And it's all about influence and persuasion. And he identifies key principles that actually underpin your ability to influence others effectively. And these principles are reciprocity, commitment and consistency, social proof, authority, liking, and scarcity. And I'll share a little bit about how those relate to your professional environment and your career a little later on in this session. So why is this relevant to you? You might be thinking, well, I don't need to really master this. It's not important for me. Well, here's the thing. These are the principles that can really be harnessed to build a powerful network, as well as gain advocates within your organization. And if you follow me on a regular basis, you'll know that I talk about the importance of networking, of building those professional relationships. So influence is playing into that in a significant way. And Again, if you're still thinking, I'm not convinced, here are some of the possibilities when you develop influence, your ability to influence. And these possibilities are vast. So there are 5 I want to share with you today. I'm sure there are many more that I haven't, I'm not mentioning, or I haven't discussed, or I've overlooked. So please do share them in the comments if you can see other things that you think can help to create new possibilities or benefits for you. For me, the key ones that I think are important to really help you to propel your career forward are: number 1, enhancing your visibility. So being influential helps you to stand out, to be more visible, and that makes your achievements and your potential more noticed, more visible to those key decision makers when it comes to those hiring decisions or assigning a big significant project and so forth. The second is attracting opportunities. People are naturally drawn to individuals who can inspire, people who can persuade, who make an impact, which means that it leads to more opportunities for both collaboration and career advancement. The third is relationships, are building those stronger relationships. And what I mean here is influence will foster that trust, something that's key when it comes to building and nurturing relationships, as well as building rapport, which again is all essential for cultivating and nurturing those lasting relationships. Number 4 is facilitating your career advancement, because when you have the ability to influence others, you can guide your career trajectory far more effectively, which means you're positioning yourself well for promotions and for leadership roles. And finally, number 5 is creating a supportive work environment. It helps you when it comes to influencing. It means that you get to build a network of advocates around you, people who will support you in your professional endeavors. So those are my top 5 possibilities, in other words, the benefits for you when you develop the skill of influencing. If you have any more that you can think of, do then pop them in the comments. I'd love to hear them. Now, there are a lot of challenges when it comes to actually developing your influencing skills. Why is this? Because a lot of professionals are technically proficient, and often what I've noticed is they can encounter challenges when it comes to leveraging influence. And this comes back to building relationships, nurturing your networks. These include, for example, focusing more or overemphasizing technical skills. And often when I speak to people, they're very focused when they feel like they're struggling to move forward in their career, they're feeling stuck, or they're getting overlooked, they're not securing that next role. The focus is on developing more technical skills and focusing on your expertise in that arena rather than the soft skills. So often I see people tend to neglect focusing or developing soft skills, which are necessary for influencing others. So that's the first thing. The second is underestimating the power of influence, and many undervalue the impact of influence on their professional growth, so the direct correlation between the two, and view it as something that's secondary. It's not really important to the primary responsibilities of technical expertise, let's say. The third is limiting networking opportunities, and this comes from the demanding nature of our roles in today's working landscape. We're very focused on, obviously, the role in front of us, and this can leave little time for investing time into building and nurturing relationships outside of your immediate team and the people that you are working with on a day-to-day basis. And finally, there have been concerns expressed about being authentic, and a view that influencing, persuading, having the ability to impact others in that way can be seen as inauthentic. And it's about trying to strike that balance between maintaining authenticity as well as being influential. And again, we'll touch on this shortly. So those are some of the main challenges that I often hear faced by people like yourself, career professionals who are wanting to advance in their career, but also struggling to build a network, to nurture it, and to influence the people around them. And remember, this skill isn't only important when it comes to advancing your career. It's also important if you're wanting to step into a leadership position. If you have a team that you're managing, you want to be able to influence those people too, as well as influencing upwards with your leadership and your exec teams. Now, before we go into some of the strategies, something else I wanted to bring to your attention is why influence is often undervalued. So we've talked about the challenges faced of investing the time and energy into developing the skill. And whilst influence is so important, it's overlooked for a number of reasons. A couple of which I want to share with you here today. First of all, the misconceptions, and going back to being authentic versus is influencing seen as perhaps manipulative or disingenuous, as opposed to seeing the potential for the positive impact of influencing, and of course how it's managed, how it's perceived, and the way that you seek to influence others. Also, another reason it's undervalued is due to lack of awareness and simply people not realizing the critical role that this plays in your career advancement, as well as workplace dynamics. And this is a conversation I have regularly with people where, you know, like myself, the kind of traditional way of advancing our careers was simply updating your CV, applying for roles, preparing for interviews, and so forth. Whereas nowadays, a lot more of the opportunities come from our network, our relationships being referred or put forward by somebody else for opportunities, or somebody reaching out to you because they're looking to fill a role and they're aware of you and the value that you bring. And this is where, again, influence plays a big part in cultivating those relationships, nurturing them such that you are top of mind, that people will, recognize the value you bring, but also be wanting to support you, to shine your light for others so that you can advance your career. So there is a lack of awareness amongst many people, particularly where over the last 20 to 30 years, let's say, the strategy for advancing your career, seeking a new role, to moving companies has shifted significantly. And also something to mention is the tactical versus the strategic approach. So we have the immediate demands of the workplace, of your day-to-day work, probably very demanding, and it's easy to focus on the day-to-day, in other words, the tactical, and hope that people will see the investment of your time, of your energy, your skills, your expertise that you put into your day-to-day. And then you often can deprioritize, let's say, the longer term strategy of, for example, building out your relationships, your networks, and enhancing your influencing skills. So those are some of the reasons, the key reasons why influence can be undervalued. So what are those strategies? I know that's what you're waiting for. It's like, okay, what do I need to do to develop my influencing skills? Here are a few things I want to share with you, first of all, and then I'll refer back to Cialdini's key principles and also how those relate to this. So I'm going to share with you, first of all, 5 strategies to develop your influence. So number 1, build authentic relationships. What do I mean by this? What I mean is establish genuine connections with colleagues. How do you do this? By showing genuine interest in them, getting to know people, also showing interest in their work, what they do, as well as their well-being. Because why is this important? Again, authenticity is key when it comes to gaining trust, gaining respect from others when you look to cultivate your relationships. Number 2 is leverage reciprocity. When we offer help and support to other people, it creates a sense of others wanting to reciprocate. Because when you are generous in your wanting to help support other people, people want to do the same for you. So a simple law of reciprocity, which Cialdini speaks about in his work. This also enhances your ability to influence people, and it creates that level of goodwill as well amongst your colleagues. Number 3 is demonstrating your expertise. So positioning yourself as knowledgeable and a reliable resource. And this comes from the skills and expertise you've already cultivated over the years through your career, and of course continuing to develop that along the way. So sharing your insights, sharing your knowledge, your areas of expertise, seeing as the subject matter expert, for example, can establish you as an authority in your field. Number 4 is practice active listening, something I'm sure you've heard about before, because rather than speaking lots, it's really good to listen actively as well as empathetically to others, to their concerns, to their ideas, because again, this helps to build trust, to build rapport, and it shows that you value other people's input. And this goes a long way to being able to influence. And finally, number 5, being able to communicate clearly and persuasively. And this is about developing your communication skills to be able to articulate your ideas well, effectively, as well as persuasively. And this will take time. This isn't an overnight strategy. This is something that you continue to work on. And it also means tailoring your message to your audience, understanding how the people around you receive information. How effective is it to maybe speak to them? So if they're auditory, if they're more visual, therefore you want to provide something that's written, that's something like some slides, for example, and so forth. So thinking about how information is well received by your audience so that you can tailor it accordingly. And again, all of this takes time to do, but having this level of awareness now enables you to start to work towards developing those skills. So those are the strategies to help you towards developing influence. Now going back to Cialdini's principles, his principles around influence are effective in the workplace. And I want to share with you how they correlate to the workplace. So number 1, he talks about reciprocity. And again, as I mentioned earlier, this is about creating that supportive environment, helping people around you, helping your colleagues, helping your team, sharing resources. Because when you give, others are more likely to return, to reciprocate in the same way. Second, commitment and consistency. What I mean here, is motivating the people around you to take small and incremental steps that align with the objectives, both of yourself, of the team, and of the wider organization. Why? Because this helps to establish a pattern of consistent behavior that supports both your goals and those of your team and of the wider organization. 3 is social proof. So Cialdini talks about using the success and approval of influential peers to encourage others to follow suit. In other words, people are more likely to support you when they see respected individuals doing the same. So think about it from a place of branding by association. So those people around you are influential, who have got your back, who are your supporters, your advocates, your sponsors, leveraging them in such a way so that other people recognize that and also become your advocates. 4 is authority. Again, coming back to what I mentioned earlier, build your credibility by continuously learning and sharing your knowledge. Because when you think, well, why would I share my knowledge if I've invested that time into it? And I hear this said. So here's the thing with that. When you position yourself as an expert, as someone who's knowledgeable, as a subject matter expert, for example, or a trusted partner within the business, it makes others more likely to trust you as well as to follow you. Next is liking. So Cialdini talks about liking, enhancing your likability by finding common ground with the people around you, as well as showing genuine appreciation for other people. So when I talk about likability, we have the common ground, we have the genuine appreciation for others. Why? Because people are then more inclined by somebody that they like and respect to be influenced in that way. And then finally, we have scarcity. So Cialdini talks about his key principles. The last one I want to share with you today is on scarcity. And how do we do this? How do we leverage this to influence? By highlighting your unique value, your ideas, your contributions to create that sense of importance, of urgency, that you have a lot of value, of contribution to bring to the table. And again, this is something that comes up in conversations I have with my clients. And one of the exercises or activities I invite them to consider is to start to build a I'll call it just a list, but like a little bank of accomplishments. And it's not little, often it's huge, because it's a work in progress. Start to note down your wins, your accomplishments, your accreditations, your certifications, your qualifications, big projects that you've worked on, work where you've had some great recognition, and start to build that power bank of all of your resources and everything that you have to bring. Why? Because not only does it reinforce to you how much value you have to bring and your level of experience and expertise, it also helps to reinforce your confidence in your own ability. Not only that, it will enable you to show up differently in the way that you communicate with others, because often we fail. The reason I'm saying is because we often fail to recognize actually how much value we do have to bring. So starting to keep a record of this in some way, whether it's in a Word document, in a notebook, on one of your notes apps on your laptop or your phone, just add to it. So start it off. Think back to even to your education, so stepping into the world of work and your career, and then going through the different roles you've had. And this isn't about just a CV of responsibilities. These are about highlights and accomplishments, and include personal wins as well, because all of this will reinforce to you how much you have created in your life already. It will fill you with confidence, and it will come through in the way that you communicate and you interact with other people. It's a really powerful exercise to work through. So something I invite you, if you don't already do this, to start doing. It's also a great resource when it comes to your half-year and annual reviews, when you start to talk with your managers about what you've contributed over the last year, or to use in a business case if you're looking to seek a promotion or a pay rise. So a really great thing there is to slowing down to put some work into highlighting and understanding first of all, and then highlighting your values and your ideas and your contributions. So this is just sharing here how you align Cialdini's principles of influence into your development of your influencing skills. So I just want to recap on both of these. So when I talk about the strategies for developing your influence, I want to recap on those 5 points for you. Number 1, build authentic relationships. Number 2, leveraging reciprocity. 3 is demonstrating your expertise and the value that you bring to the table. 4 is practice active listening. And 5 is communicating clearly and persuasively. And if it's something you struggle with, it is something you can always work on developing and improving. And relating Cialdini's principles to this as well. Again, reciprocity features in that, commitment and consistency in terms of motivating others around you, social proof, so leveraging your relationships with people of influence and authority. The 4th one is authority, so your authority, building your credibility. Then we talk about liking, so finding common ground to show genuine interest and appreciation of others. And finally, scarcity, so highlighting your unique value proposition. I do hope this has been helpful. Of course, if you have any questions on what I've shared today, any comments, or let me know what actions you are going to take on the back of this, then do pop them in the comments. I would love to know. And just to kind of conclude on this topic, because it is so important and it's so often overlooked, mastering the art of influence for you, it really is a powerful tool if career growth is important for you. So by understanding and applying the techniques that I have shared here today, maybe referencing Cialdini's work and his book will help with that, to reinforce that. It will enable you to enhance your visibility, to build a solid and robust network, but also steer your career with greater success. And developing your influence is not about manipulation. So please don't think that it is. It is about being authentic and creating those authentic, genuine relationships. It's about effective communication and leveraging your expertise, your unique value proposition to inspire and to lead others. So my invitation to you today is to embrace these strategies to be able to transform both your professional relationships as well as unlock those opportunities to advance your career. And start to incorporate the strategies and techniques that I've shared here today into your daily interactions, because then it'll become a natural part of the way that you show up, the way that you behave. And you'll find that people are more likely, therefore, to listen, to be influenced by you, to support your initiatives, as well as to help you to achieve your goals. So I do hope this has been helpful for you today. As I said, any comments, any questions, do pop them below. I will respond to them accordingly. If you'd rather DM me with your takeaways from this, then please do. I would look forward to hearing from you. And until next time, I invite you to remember to harness your potential, to elevate your performance and strive towards growth, whatever that means for you. In particular, continue to show up as your best self. Have a great rest of the week. If you've got the weather that we have here in the UK, enjoy the sunshine. And I look forward to seeing you same time, same place next week. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe to this podcast if you haven't already done so. And if you enjoyed and gained value from today's episode, then do please leave a review telling us your key learnings and what you enjoyed the most. And do please share this podcast with your friends and colleagues so we can spread the word on life leadership, creating a life of choice, freedom, and new possibilities. Connect with me directly on LinkedIn, and if you would like to learn more about how we can work together, either DM me on LinkedIn or email me. All details and resources can be found in the show notes.